First, how many people in here speak English? Raise your hand. Okay, because my Spanish sucks. So we'll do English if that's okay. My name is Robert McDonnel, and I am the founder of Gain.ai. Now, I want you to imagine something. I want you to imagine from a graph what it would look like from the inception of Bitcoin to the price of Bitcoin today. What would that graph look like? To me, it would look like a rocket taking off, looking at the smoke trail heading to the moon. And Gain is trying to build, or has built, a rocket on top of that rocket. So picture this Looney Tunes style. Rocket taking off, another rocket. Yield on Bitcoin. Verifiable yield on Bitcoin. So how is this possible? Over the next 5 minutes, I'm going to explain how Gain AI generates a sustainable yield on Bitcoin and Ethereum. A proven yield, what we call proof of yield. Perhaps an industry first. But first, I'm going to talk a little bit about myself. My name is Robert, as you already know, and I am an algorithmic trader. This is how I pay my bills. And my bills aren't that cheap. I've got 4 kids, 2 large dogs, and a beautiful wife that is on a first-name basis with Louis Vuitton, or as I like to call him, Uncle Louis. So life isn't cheap, but algorithmic trading helps to pay those bills for me. Now, paying, oh man. So, I'm gonna breathe a little bit. This is the first time I've been on stage. So, as an algorithmic trader in the currency markets, I always have a conundrum. That is, do I hold my money in a broker and have it generate yield for me, or do I convert it into Bitcoin and Ethereum and hope that my Bitcoin and Ethereum outpaces the price appreciation of Bitcoin? Well, in 2020, Bitcoin and Ethereum was taking off like that rocket. And I kept going and having to pull money out of my brokerage account, convert it to Bitcoin and Ethereum, and kind of go back and forth. And it didn't make much sense. And eventually I said, wouldn't it be better if I actually had a brokerage account that was denominated in Bitcoin or denominated in Ethereum itself? So think about that. You look at your account balance, usually it's in dollars, euros, or yens, or what have you. Imagine if your Merrill Lynch account was denominated in Bitcoin, meaning that the yield that Merrill made for you was actually Bitcoin instead of dollars. That sounds attractive to me. How about you guys? It sounds very attractive. So I went to a regulated broker that I have a partnership with, and I asked them, is it possible to have an account denominated in Bitcoin or Ethereum? They went to their regulator, back and forth for about 6 months. Eventually, they gave us the green light, and boom, just like that, Gain.ai was born. We had the green light to go and have people, our clients, open up a brokerage account denominated in Bitcoin or Ethereum, and for us to use our algorithmic trading technologies to generate a verifiable yield. Let me tell you something. No one in the world is doing this. We're the first. So originally, we had a model where we said, how about this? Let's go and tokenize all this Bitcoin and Ethereum inside of the broker. People put Ethereum or Bitcoin inside, and they get a token that represents a share of that pool. So a tokenized pool of Bitcoin and Ethereum. But turns out, after a lot of smart contracts and audits, it's not as efficient to tokenize everything in the world. And after a couple years of doing this, we actually decided to do something that might offend some people in this room. We de-tokenized. and that's not something that is too common, but we were thinking from the client's perspective. If you want to be client-centric, you have to put the client's needs first. And so we changed the model to this. We said our clients would simply onboard with a broker, deposit their Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we would mount our trading technologies directly onto their account, which is beautiful because we don't touch their funds. Their funds stay in their name and under their control, so they can deposit and withdraw as they like. So how do we generate alpha? And this is a very important question. Not enough people in our space ask that question. If people asked that question more often, FTX wouldn't have happened. Think about that. You go to a trading platform and it says, hey, we'll give you 7, 8, 9% yield. That sounds nice. How are you going to do it? Maybe they give you a vague answer. Maybe they don't say anything at all. But they definitely don't provide audited proof of how they generate yield. And that's something the industry needs to think about. I think we need to raise our standards, for sure. And that's what Gain is aiming to do, is to provide a proof of yield. So our performance since 2020 has been 42% annualized returns per year. Let me repeat that. 42% over the last 5 years. That's in dollars. But now that we can have accounts in Bitcoin or accounts in Ethereum, imagine having 42% more Bitcoin or Ethereum. That sounds good. That sounds really good, to me at least. Because I believe that Bitcoin is a scarce asset. I believe that the future is going to be a future where governments keep printing money, but Bitcoin stays at 21 million. And I want more Bitcoin. So 2 days ago, Gain launched our Ethereum-denominated trading account. You can go right now to gain.ai and actually see a widget that's provided by our auditor showing every trade that we've placed and the performance. Verifiable yield. And today, for Panama Blockchain Week, we are opening up our Bitcoin and US dollar denominated trading accounts. And if you go to gain.ai and you write hi at gain.ai and said, hey, I saw Robert give his presentation and you want to get a trial of our services for 3 months, no performance fees. If you do it by midnight, you're in. Now, typically how we do things is this. We charge a 30% performance fee for our services, but we don't charge a management fee, there's no entry fee, there's no exit fees. We only charge a fee if we generate a revenue for our clients. And I think that's fair. That's how it should be. Our clients make money, we make money. Our clients don't make money, we don't get rewarded. So, and I want to also point out that the broker that we partnered with is TradeView Markets. They're regulated in multiple jurisdictions. Demon Ruiz is a representative of theirs. He came in today to support Gain.ai. And TradeView Markets is creating innovation in this space. So shout out to TradeView. Now, I'm going to open up to questions for you, if you have any questions for me.
Yeah, I have one question regarding your competitors. Who are your main competitors, or the main platforms?
So, as I stated, no one in the world that I know of is doing exactly what we're doing. We consider ourselves something called hybrid finance. We're combining the strength of traditional financial markets, which has excellent liquidity, which means more scalability and good execution. And we're combining that with a scarce asset, which is Bitcoin or Ethereum, right? And so no one in the world that I know of is doing this. But we do have competitors. And the competitors, I would say, are people that are offering platforms generating like a yield. So you go to a platform and they say, hey, we're giving you 7% APY, or a variable yield between 6 and 14% or what have you. But like I said, you don't know what they're investing in. You don't know what kind of risk you're taking by putting money on that platform, because they're not providing a proof of how that yield is generated, which is what differentiates Gain from everyone else.
And another question is, what is going to be your go-to-market strategy?
Say,
go-to-market strategy. Go-to-market.
Go-to-market strategy. Now, Gain is a little bit different than a regular tokenized project. In my opinion, tokenized projects it's an attention game. Everyone is seeking attention. They throw marketing dollars to get attention. They do whatever they can to get as many more users as possible. Now with Gain, we're going to grow organically. And the reason why that's important is because with Gain, the experience of the client doesn't change whether there's 100 people with Gain or 1,000 people with Gain or 10,000 people with Gain. It doesn't change. It's not like a token where we have to go and search for that affirmation from other people. In fact, as a client, it doesn't behoove you in any way if Gain is huge and everyone knows about it, or there's only 100 or 200 people in Gain. It doesn't make any difference because we're not fighting for attention to sell a token. What we care about is satisfying our clients with a good return.
What is the use of the AI? So
Very good question.
What is the dependency on the platform on AI? So what is the use? What type of AI?
Excellent question. Our name is Gain.ai, and that implies that we actually use AI. Well, algorithmic trading is something that has been evolving over the years. I would say the first generation algorithms use strict mechanical rules to enter and exit positions. Generation 2 uses machine learning optimized algorithms, where a human would take a data set, plug it in, and run it, and then it would optimize based on that data set. And now, we're facing true AI trading. And so Gain right now is combining all three different kinds of technologies. The AI is a bit tricky because the AI is kind of updating itself and doing its own thing. And so it's kind of a thing, what we do call it a forward test, where you're watching that AI go and try to figure out how it should trade. So the approach we're taking is giving it a very, very small allocation of our account, observing. We need time to make sure that we can actually trust what it's trying to do. We need different market conditions and everything else, because the truth is we make good profits with Gen 1 and Gen 2. And Gen 3 is very new, but I guarantee you in the next 10 years, the majority of algorithmic trading in the world will be done with AI.
Yeah, the other question will be call to action for you. What is the call to action to this audience? So you came here to pitch, so
Okay.
what you want from the Blockchain Panama people?
What's the call
here?
to action? Okay. If you value Bitcoin, if you value Ethereum or US dollars, then if you want to partner with someone who has 5 years of audited trading history that's verified, people that believe in proving what they say and what they do, I would extend an invitation to try our services. And we'll waive our performance fee for 3 months so you can get to know what it is like with Gain.ai. And after that 3 months, you can decide to continue or not. But we are the first mover in this space. And I feel the potential for this is enormous. I feel that when Gain AI becomes a name that's well recognized, it's going to increase the industry standard for other people that are going and promoting that they can generate a yield. And I think that's very needed in this space. And so I say, give us a try, and you'll be very, very happy.
Thank you.